Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli back with another review video, and yes, the last Halloweenish film I'm reviewing for this year, and I think I saved the best for last. Yep. That's right. I'm of course reviewing the sequel that everybody had been asking for. And I know that the three leading actresses they've been wanting to do this too. You know, everybody had been wanting for there to be a sequel of one of Disney's, like, great Halloween films right next to, say, The Nightmare Before Christmas, you know? And that being, of course, the long-awaited sequel, Hocus Pocus 2. Yes, finally and at long last, what we've been waiting for, it finally happened. We got a Hocus Pocus 2, and yeah, because for a long time, you know, as I said, you know, people and, like, the fans of the movie, they've been wanting a sequel, and, you know, the three actresses, as I said, Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Namini, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right. I apologize. They've been wanting to do this, you know, and even, like, say, well, there was that one time they did reprise their roles a couple years ago. Like, they did this there was this Hocus Pocus, like, charity event or something. They reprised their roles, and even Doug Jones in makeup as Billy Butcherson. Yeah, that was really cool. And maybe it was like maybe it was a hint, possibly. Well, hey, because they were their characters again, that, hey, maybe there could be, just maybe, a sequel. And thus, it was announced. And yeah, that's good. I'm glad that we finally got it. And honestly, like, you know, when it came out, you know, it was kind of mixed, you know, and I was a bit disappointed because, I mean, I knew the fact that this could not top off the first film. And yes, that's absolutely true. It could not. But yeah, some people did enjoy this, and some people were like, you know, I mean, yeah, I just don't get it. For me, I thought this was really good. I thought this was a really good sequel to Hocus Pocus. Again, it could not, you know, it could not top off the first film, and nor could, say, recapture the magic. I mean, it tries, it does show, and I think that, yeah, this has pleased some of the Hocus Pocus fans. So, even if, say, you don't have all of the original cast come back for this, you know, and watching this, it does work not having all of the cast back. Like, okay, most notably, aside from the sisters and Billy Butcherson, it doesn't have, say, Binks, because, well, Binks had already died. Was no longer a black cat. However, there is a black cat, but not Binks. We don't get, say, Max, Danny, and Allison. So, again, I think this sequel manages to work without them being in it. So, okay, so, the story. Two young women, although technically it should say two teenagers, because they are teenagers, so what's up with that? I don't know. Accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters to modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking havoc on the world. So, yeah, what's really cool, it was really cool how this opened. Like, well, just like in the first film, we open, like, say, during, like, the sisters', like, time, that were, you know, their time, and, like, this time, we see them as, like, as kids, basically, and how they would become witches, because they came face to face with another witch, and, she is credited, isn't she? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, the two young actresses, who played the young Sanderson sisters, let me see, yeah, young Sarah, played by, Juju Journey Brainer, if I'm saying that right. And then there was young Mary, played by Nina Kitchen. Yep, that's right. And Taylor Henderson was young Winifred. they did pretty good playing the young sisters. Oh gosh, well, of course, even with Winifred had the teeth, of course, and the hairdo. Apparently, because, yeah, Winifred was to be betrothed, but, of course, you know, and saying to the towns, and, like, the townspeople, like, she started a mob, you know, the townspeople at their, like, cottage, whatever, and, you know, being told that he has to be betrothed to John Petreet, if I'm saying that right, played by Thomas Fitzgerald, yeah, but she'd rather prefer Billy Butcherson, and we do see a young Billy Butcherson, you know, when he was alive, young Billy Butcherson, played by Austin J. Ryan, but of course, you know, they flee from the town, the village, and that's when the witch mother, you know, shows up, when they go into the woods. The witch mother being played by Hannah Waddingham. Hope I'm saying that right. And, like, she basically, like, gives them, like, the spell book, the book with the one eye, and thus, you know, they would become witches and causing mayhem in the town, like, setting one house on fire, yeah. And thus, that's how they would become the witches. They would become witches, and they'd be known as the Sanderson sisters, like, to that, you know, to the village and so on. And yeah, because that sequence, that whole opening scene with them as kids, that of course takes place years before the opening to Hocus Pocus, you know, with Emily and Binks, so, and where they get hung, yep. So that's pretty cool. Then, of course, modern time, and we have the rest of our main cast. We have Becca, played by Whitney Peak, Izzy, played by Belissa, I don't know how you pronounce the last name, I'm sorry. And then Lila Buckingham, yeah, is Cassidy. They're all besties, best friends, but for Becca and Izzy, because, like, I guess, like, especially for Becca, like, something's, like, going on with her and Cassie's, like, friendship, and not to mention Cassie and her boyfriend, like, Cassie being with her boyfriend Mike, played by Froy Guts, I can't pronounce that either, I'm sorry, you know, bear with me, please. We also, of course, get the appearance of the Sandersons' cottage, of course, turn into, you know, oh, what's the word, you know, museum or something like that, yeah. And the one that's running that place, Gilbert, played by Sam Richardson. Yeah, Gilbert was pretty good too. And, like, he's like putting on a performance, telling the story of the Sanderson sisters. And even we get footage, you know, like, from the first film being shown. And by the way, there was one moment where somebody in their house had Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall on their TV, and it's them in Hocus Pocus. And I'm like, what? I'm like, wait a minute, how's that possible? What? I have several questions. Yeah, I think maybe, I'm sure as though people were like me too, like, wait a minute, what? Even when me and my mom, we watched this for the first time, you know, and here's another thing. My mom did enjoy this too. She enjoyed the sequel very much, you know. So yeah. And at one point, because, you know, I think, yeah, Becky and Izzy, yeah, they do take, like, this candle, and they go out into the woods, you know, and they do something, and they basically, yeah, and they of course bring back, you know, the witches, and yeah, of course, like, just like in the first film, and it's mentioned again, you know, a virgin who lights the candle, even one kid asks Mike, as he's putting on a performance, what's a virgin? And, you know, Mike, just because, keep it PG, please, you know, that's somebody who has never lit a candle. That's his way of saying it to the kid. So yeah, but that's basically, I mean, that's how it is. The prophecy, you know, a virgin can only light the black candle. So, yeah, as I said, the witches come back. They do have a little song number, and they come face to face with Becca and Izzy, and they, like, trick the sisters, like, in going to Walgreens to buy potions. It is pretty funny. Like, you know what? Originally, there was going to be a scene where the witches do go into a store in the first Hocus Pocus film, but that was cut. Like, what also was cut was, well, Winifred, like, pushing Sarah and Mary into a pool, them, like, giving out candy to the kids. So, even, like, that was in one of the trailers for the first Hocus Pocus film, and those scenes never made it into the film. So it's kind of nice for one of them, you know, that was originally considered, it made its way into the sequel, them going into a store, and that being Walgreens. And yeah, that's another thing too, Walgreens being mentioned a couple other times in the film, so even at the end of the film, which I'll get to later. And even say, yeah, of course, the Sanderson sisters, they, of course, return to their cottage, and, yeah, they are a bit upset of how it looks, you know, very different, and, you know, different smell to it, so, and, Gilbert does actually team up, like, joins their side, and, even the Sanderson sisters confuse the black cat as Binks, and, you know, it's not Binks, obviously. If it were Binks, then, yeah, Binks would, like, be at it at the sisters, you know what I'm saying? Be hissing and so on. And that's, you know, the black cat is really I'm sorry, not Corey, Gilbert's cat. Where am I getting Corey? Also, I totally almost forgot to mention, Cassie's father, that is, the mayor of the town, and also he was the Reverend Trask, who, yeah, he looked a bit, I couldn't even tell, like, it seemed like he looked like a completely different person when he was in the opening into the film, you know, telling Winifred that she's to be betrothed and so on. Yep, Tony Hale is in this, and yeah, he's the Reverend, and he's the mayor, and, you know, the mayor / the father of Cassie, and good old Tony Hale, and, you know, I remember Tony Hale from, say, RV, the Robin Williams film, and the voice of Forky from Toy Story 4. Yep, so yeah, knowing Tony Hale, he has some funny moments in the film, of course, and, you know, even say when he's a bit pissed off at his daughter for throwing a Halloween party in their house, yeah, and of course, Cassie does find out about the Sanderson sisters, even when, say, at one point, when she first sees them, they're chasing her boyfriend down the road, like, you know. And also, I almost forgot, like, Gilbert, even I was kind of thinking of this, and I called it. Gilbert, like, was there in 1993 when the witches returned, the Sanderson sisters, and he witnessed what happened in the cemetery when they were killed, when the sun rose. Yeah, that was really cool. And this time, what the sisters fly on this time, well, obviously Winifred has a broom of some kind. Sarah, she has, like, that kind of vacuum, whatever it is, for, like, carpet, you know, and bubbles came out. And for Mary, oh, it's really funny. Remember when the first film she had a vacuum? Well, this time, it's like two, like, round hover, whatever the heck they're called. You might know what I'm talking about. They even have a personality of their own. And at one point, like, you know, the sisters, they are at this town Halloween festival or whatever. They even go on stage and enter into a cosplay contest of the best Sanderson sisters costumes. They don't win, of course, and then they throw a song number. Actually, I thought the song number that they did was pretty good. Of course, it's not I Put a Spell on You, but, you know, a little bit of the lyrics are in the new song, you know, I'll say you could buy apple, baby, apple, yeah, but a different key, so, and to go with the new song they sing. And of course, Cassie, she does help. Of course, she does help out Becca and Izzy, even when, say, the sisters, they get into her house. There's another funny moment where they, you know, hear the Alexa voice, and they just freak out. It's funny. And of course, at one point, they, all three of the girls, they surround the sisters with salt. Salt is one of their weakness, so they can't, you know, it's like a force field. Even Tony Hale, because another thing is, the Sanderson sisters were gonna go after and kill the mayor, and they never got their chance, even the mayor coming face-to-face with the sisters. And also, can't forget about him, because Gilbert, digs out Billy Butcherson, once again, Doug Jones, yep. And this time, we get a lot more of Billy. And I was hoping that he would, you know, like, join up with like, Becca and Izzy and Cassie, but he technically doesn't, you know. And this time, he does have an accent, like, you know, British and that kind of voice. We didn't... I can tell. Billy never had an accent in the first film. I should know, but he does this time. And, you know, we find out a little bit more about what happened with Billy and Winnie. Like, he was saying it was just one kiss. And basically, Gilbert needs Billy's head because of this spell that's going to be cast, and for them not to be killed by this when the sun rises. You know, they could, like, survive, you know what I'm saying? Even like, say, at one point, Cassie does get captured by the Sanderson sisters. And, you know, we find out that, Cassie had asked, you know, about Becky and Izzy, like, hanging out with her, and, you know, they really just didn't want to because of Cassie's friends and her boyfriend, that kind of stuff, and things work out, you know, for all three of them. And as I said, Cassie being captured by Winifred, and so much for Mike, like, he doesn't join them or anything like that. Even when Becca and Izzy, they go after and save Cassie, you know, they just leave Mike behind, and he comes face-to-face with Billy's body, and he screams, and he passes out. That's it for Mike. So much for him. And yeah, at that point, Becca starts to have magic as well, like witch powers. So that's interesting. And I think, yeah, and in the end, at the end of the film, like, all three of them, I guess, Becca, Izzy, and Cassie, they do become witches. And even say the book now comes to Becca, and Becca is warning Winifred not to cast the spell that they were making, so that required, like, for example, you know, Billy's head, you know. And even this, and also, at this point, Sarah and Mary, they get powers as well, like what Winifred has, you know, lightning strikes, pss, pss, yeah, good for them. And just them having fun with that, you know. Oh, and yeah, like, even say a couple of, like, favorite, like, lines from the first film, like, said again, like, you know, for Sarah, amok, 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 amok. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, yeah, from Sarah. And then, of course, near the end, like, well, the spell is cast, but in one condition, Mary and Sarah, they basically turn to dust. They vanish, and that was under one condition of the spell, like, you know, sacrificing one thing, and that being Winnie's sisters, and kind of heartbreaking, definitely, even for Winnie. And Mary and Winnie, they say their final words, just like in the first film, you know, Mary saying bye-bye, and Sarah, goodbye, you know, as they said it in the first film. And, you know, Winnie just realizing what she had done, and wants to be reunited with her sisters. And, you know, Becca, Izzy, and Cassie, they, you know, they do a spell, and yeah, Winnie vanishes too. She's, you know, being reunited with her sisters. And also, Billy Butcherson, that's unfortunate. Even Billy, he, like, disintegrates as well. And that's when, yeah, because when Billy, Izzy, Cassie, and Becca, they finally meet. So, even, like, say, Billy kind of pissed off at Gilbert of what he had been doing. But everything works out with Gilbert. Like, he's all good, so, and, yeah, and of course, now, the book is in, Becca's, possession. Even, like, say, the book, I noticed, the book at one point shed a tear. Yeah, because of this, like, I guess, yeah, Winnie dying, like, man, that was emotional. And then, of course, the ending to it, like, as they walk off, Becca, Izzy, and Cassie, they at one point, like, walk like the sisters, you know? It's funny. And then we see the bird, which is the mother witch. Like, we see her, like, she takes this bird form that's, like, black and, like, red feathers, you know, red and yellow. And, yep, she's still around, and it kind of shows that, oh, it's not over, just, yeah. And then during the credits, we get another like the song that the witches were singing at the festival. You know, like it's the song reprised, and like they're in a studio singing it. Pretty funny. And Winnie getting the last line, you know, lunch. Oh, and I forgot to mention, because of the song that the witches were singing, they put a curse on all the townspeople to go after the mayor. But of course, that doesn't last long, and just, you know, they're like, what are we doing? Just, you know, I forgot to mention that. And then there is an end credits scene in this, and that being Gilbert's cat. Like, he climbs up, and we see, I think, yeah, a box that's labeled of a black flaming candle. There's a second one, and that shows that, hey, maybe there will be a Hocus Pocus 3. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, man. But with all that being said, Hocus Pocus 2, what a great sequel this was, in my opinion. I think, yeah, it was a calming and good sequel, in my opinion, and again, there are those that thought this was good, and those that were like, eh. For me, good question, like, how do I rate this? That is a good question. Since I enjoyed it, I can't say it's good. Okay, I can't say it's great or anything like that or a masterpiece. I'll just, you know, give it, say, 8 out of 10 stars. That's good, don't you think? Yeah. And what about you guys? What did you think of Hocus Pocus 2? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. Oh, boy. And with all that being said, yeah, this year's list of Halloweenish films, you know, being reviewed has come to an end. Yep. It's been a lot of fun for this October. I think, yeah, this year I picked out some pretty good Halloweenish films to review. And not to mention, a lot of them were celebrating their anniversaries. Yep, so, yeah. So, I thank you all so much for joining in for this year's list of, you know, me reviewing Halloweenish films, and I look forward to next year's list of Halloweenish films that I'll be reviewing. So, yep, have that to look forward to. So for one last time, yep, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Hocus Pocus 2. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And for one last time, take care, peace out, and happy Halloween!